everyone, and welcome back to the Overleveled podcast. Yeah. Oh boy, how you doing, DJ?
I'm doing A-okay. How you doing, Gavin?
Doing all right, man. Got off of work not too long ago, and put down the baby, and now we just big chillin'.
Yeah,
ready to talk about some Japanese role-playing video games.
Right. As young adults do.
Oh, yeah. So right before we started the podcast, you mentioned something related to JRPGs. Go ahead and share that with everyone.
So one of the big things recently, I guess, news-wise, is that Nier Replicant, as of this podcast, Nier Replicant came out a couple of days ago on April the 22nd, and I totally forgot all about that. I need to buy that immediately.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
For anybody that doesn't know anything about this game, Nier Replicant, pretty much what it is, it's a remaster / remake of the first Nier game that came out on the PS3. This has like way better visuals, and like the main character looks completely different from how he looked in the original. Like he looks more like an anime protagonist than like some gruffy, buff old man dude. And so,
well,
the game just looks great.
From what I understood, I thought it was like there were two versions of the game that came out.
Oh, that's right.
Like America got the version with like the dad character.
Yeah.
And then like Japan got the one with like the brother kind of character.
Right, I forgot about that. That's probably what we got then. Yeah, I totally forgot all about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this a new game came out. It's a remaster of the original Nier, of the Japanese version. And me and Cole, we played it on Videoverse. Go check it out, link in the description below. It was a very fun game. That was our very first time playing it, and it was great. The story of that game was great. And this game, the remake, the remaster, whatever, just seems like a much better game, because the original Nier, it was pretty slow in comparison to Nier Automata. Like, it was way slower pace, and this game seems like they made it a bit more faster pace in terms of the combat, so I'm excited about that.
Right. Yeah, no, I watched a little bit of y'all play it on Videoverse, but I really have I've never played any of the Nier games. I played the first Drakengard game, which is technically tied into the Nier series. And then like whenever I just couldn't handle that game because the controls are so fucking bad, I just went ahead and watched the rest of the cutscenes and saw the ending of the first game that leads into the first Nier game. So, as far as I'm aware, it's nothing major that I need to know or that you need to know before going into it. But fuck it, dude. I'm so pumped to play that game. Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah, and I never played Nier Automata either, so I got these two games that have gotten excellent reviews, especially Nier Automata, that I just have not played yet, so I'm fucking pumped about playing those.
Definitely.
Yeah. Other than that, have you ever played any of the Tales games?
I have not. I never played a single one.
Dude, okay, so I recently started playing I'm blanking on which one it is. I have Tales of Berseria and Tales of what's the name of this game? Anyways, it's one of those older ones that kind of got a remaster not too long ago. I'm surprised it's not just popping up because I'm looking it up on my TV. Oh, Tales of Vesperia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know why I was not able to think of that one. Tales of Vesperia. I got that one on PS4. I think it originally came out either on PS2 or PS3. But it got a remaster on PS4, and I think it's widely considered the best one out of all of them.
Okay.
Anyways, I bring this up because Tales of Arise got a trailer kind of recently. A brand new Tales game. Some people are pumped about it. Some people are not very pumped about it because it seems very different from the other Tales games. And maybe if you are not a fan of Tales, this would be a cool one for you to check out. So, you know, I think it's one of those series that kind of has that same sort, not this, I don't really think any other JRPG has the same status as Final Fantasy, but it's kind of up there with, this long series of games. You don't need to play any of them in order. Just jump into one and you'll get a good story, and they all carry the same sort of themes and enemies and items and stuff. So, you know, might check that one out pretty soon.
Right.
Yeah. What's it called? Pokemon Snap came out.
Oh, tight.
Yeah. Did you ever play the Nintendo 64 Pokemon Snap?
No, I've never played it before. And honestly, that game doesn't really seem that interesting to me because it's literally just taking pictures of Pokemon. But I don't know. I'm being ignorant. I've never played it, so maybe it's amazing. But just from looking at it, it's just like I don't know.
DJ, can I say something?
Yeah.
I completely agree with you.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I get the appeal for like, I'm not huge into Animal Crossing. But I understand that appeal of just kind of no real challenge
It's very relaxing.
and just turning off your brain and just, you know, just hanging out, playing a game that's aesthetically pleasing. I understand that. So, like, I can see why this game is a big deal for a lot of people, especially for people who have played the original N64 version.
Definitely.
Or, like, you know, just the first game. And I mean, I think I played a little bit of it with my buddy Connor whenever I was younger, or with one of my buddies who had a Nintendo 64. But, yeah, I mean, literally the goal is just taking pictures of Pokemon.
Yup.
It's nothing crazy, nothing too complicated. I think there's like a system where you can kind of like, let's say you see a Pikachu. There are 5. It's like there are 1-star photos, 2-star photos, all the way up to 5-star photos. And like the 5-star photos are like the hardest photos. You have to kind of like throw things at them to make them react in a certain way. Or like lead them to get on top of a certain object, and then you, whenever they're over there, you can take the hardest photo. But realistically, that's it, you know. But hey, Pokemon's cool. We talked about Pokemon a good bit during our first couple of episodes. So if you're into
before this
Pokemon,
podcast, I was playing some more Pokemon Pearl.
Yeah, Pokemon Pearl. Yeah, pumped to play those. Not jonesing for Pokemon Snap, but that should be cool. Oh, also, you have a 3DS, right?
Yes.
Did you ever play MiiTopia?
No, but I've always wanted to.
Okay, cool. Well, so are you thinking of maybe picking that up for Nintendo Switch?
Probably, honestly, yeah.
Yeah, I think the demo just dropped like today, I think. So, you know, that might be pretty dope. So yeah. Also, this kind of has something to do with what I would like to talk about here in a minute. But there is a Kickstarter for a game called Oddventure. And if you look up the trailer for this game or you see screenshots, this game essentially is like a spiritual sequel to like Mother 3, aka Earthbound.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think this is kind of a genre of game. Like, you know, Earthbound is an RPG, it's a JRPG, but it's kind of own entity at this point. Where games are being modeled after the Earthbound style. So, you know, it looks super cool. Pretty much games with this sort of aesthetic tend to always be really cool, really interesting to me. So this is a game that I definitely want to check out whenever it's out. I may even end up, you know, backing up on Kickstarter. It's planned for 2022, so it's still got a little bit of ways out there, and I know there's been other fan projects like this that have been stuck in development hell for a long time, but I'd rather it be delayed and good than just out and not good,
Right, definitely.
Cool. All right, well, so I think that's going to kind of cover it for the news portion of the podcast. Yesterday, 2 days ago, I called you up and proposed an idea of maybe just talking, not like in a review style, but just kind of choosing a game that maybe I don't know about or maybe you don't know about, and then we can just kind of tell each other about those games and sort of, convince the other person why you should pick it up, or, give it a look or whatever. So I've picked out the game that I definitely want to talk about today. Okay, but if you have a game, I would like for you to go first.
Sure. So it probably would have been a good idea for me to pick Disgaea 5 because today I just beat it, and Disgaea 5 is a very fun game. I enjoyed it a lot. The characters were great. Everything about it was great. Combat was great. Very grindy game because there's one stage, which is the second world, the first level. I spent the most time grinding on that, and I've beaten that stage about over 500 times, which really shows you just how grindy Disgaea 5 can be, or Disgaea in general can be. It would make sense for me to talk about that because that's the game that I recently beat, but instead, I'm going to talk about a more obscure game, which now that Dragon's Dogma is out on the PS4, because originally, before Dragon's Dogma was out on the PS4, it was my favorite PS3 game of all time, but now it's on a PS4. This next game has been moved up to now my favorite PS3 game of all time, and that game is White Knight Chronicles for the PS3. Is my favorite PS3 game of all time.
I think I saw on your Snapchat story you were playing that kind of recently.
I was, yeah. The last time I touched that game was when I beat it was in 2014. And recently I've been thinking about that game a lot and just wanted to play it. And when you brought up that idea, I think either the next day or the day of, I just started playing a little bit of White Knight Chronicles, and oh man, what a nostalgia trip. I fucking love that game. So that's the game I'm going to talk about. It's White Knight Chronicles. So
okay, cool. This
White
is a
Knight
game I have no fucking idea what this game is, what the gameplay is like, what the story is, like if it's any good or not. I've literally never heard. I know that one day whenever you were working at Buybacks, you got this game, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
I know it's very cheap. It's a very cheap game.
That's the only thing I know about this game is that you got it, fucking basically for nothing whenever you worked at like a game store.
Yeah. Like if you find White Knight Chronicles 2, you can easily find it for like less than $5 probably. The same thing with like Spectros for the DS. You can probably find that for less than $1. But White Knight Chronicles 2 is a great game. And what's cool about because there's two games. There's White Knight Chronicles and White Knight Chronicles 2, the sequel, the direct sequel. And what's cool about buying White Knight Chronicles 2 is that the disc comes with the first White Knight Chronicles game. So you can just like play the first White Knight Chronicles and then immediately from your last save jump into White Knight Chronicles 2, which is fucking awesome for just like $5. That's great.
So wait, it's a so White Knight Chronicles 2. It's a you can transfer your save from the first game into the second one.
Yeah, it comes with both games.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
like just
really
like continues the story from your last save. Whoa, that's so cool.
Or if you want, you can just jump straight into White Knight Chronicles 2 if you want.
Okay, yeah, sure.
So and White Knight Chronicles 2, just White Knight Chronicles in general. The story I wouldn't say isn't very amazing. It's pretty generic, but still decent. It's pretty much your typical heroes have to save the princess and restore the world from whatever. It's pretty generic, standard JRPG story, but it's fine, Not everything has to be like, the story doesn't necessarily have to be like groundbreaking and amazing to be good or decent or whatever, in my opinion. And so the most basic way that I can describe the combat of White Knight Chronicles 2 is that it's pretty much Final Fantasy XII combat without the gambit system. Is the best way for me to describe the combat of that game. Where it's like it's action oriented, where you sort of move around, have to wait a little bit for the gauge to go up, in order to like use a move. Sort of like how in What's another game that's sort of like that? I guess. Not nothing. I can't really think of anything. But like how in and with how the combat works is like how in Final Fantasy 12 you sort of move around and like you find you just like a bunch of enemies sort of on the map. There's no like random encounters. Like all the enemies are on the map, which is really cool.
Cool,
which makes it easier. So you don't necessarily have to always get into battles if you don't want to. And so, yeah, when you get into combat, how it works is that, like, instead of having a basic menu where you can, like, either choose to attack, use magic, an item, different things like that, a summon, what it is that you have, each character has 7 different commands they can do, like 7 different attacks they can do, and it's with 3 different layers. So there's, like, in total, you can do 7, 14, 21 different attacks choosing that you want to do, which is really cool. A lot of variety and stuff like that with that. Sort of like how in MMORPGs, how you just have like a bunch of different moves you can do in once. Sort of the same thing with White Knight Chronicles 2, is you just have, or White Knight Chronicles in general, you have a bunch of different moves you can choose from, which is really cool. And what's also great about that game is that the difficulty curve is pretty decent. Like, when I played that game, for what I remember, I never had to grind once until I got to the final boss. Which might sound bad, but because when I think of that, I think of Final Fantasy 3. But in comparison, this is way better. Like it wasn't that bad at all. It was pretty cool. Okay. And let's see what else. Probably the coolest thing gameplay-wise about that is one of the big story elements about that game is you have your own knight called a. I just played the game earlier. They said what it was, Incorruptus, I think, like that, something like that. Incorruptus, where the main character gets this huge, basically mecha knight that they can use to, like, it's pretty much just like their version of a summon, where like you control this huge knight and then you just walk around just doing a shit ton of damage to people. And it's usually reserved for like fighting the major bosses and different things like that. But if you wanted to, you could just literally summon it and just kill like the weakest enemy in the game, which is a lot of fun. And another thing about combat too is that with the different moves is that you have different types of moves. So you have like a regular swipe attack, a thrust attack, and a blunt attack. And each of the different types of attacks is how you determine an enemy's weakness. So some of the basic enemies in the game, a Kibble, a Pokken, and a Giant Vespid. So a Kibble is weak to blunt attacks, and you'll know because a regular attack, when it shows the damage, it's like a white text. But if it's a special attack where it's like that's what they're weak to, it's the text is gold. So you'll know like, oh, that move is weak to this enemy. And so that's one way of like strategy and stuff like that. And let's see what else. And what's cool is that like you can even create combos. Like the game gives you an option to select a bunch of different moves to set up like a combo and stuff like that. So whenever you do that, you can just like spam X and use a bunch of different moves all at once, which is really cool too. And just a lot of cool things combat wise. And what's pretty interesting story wise is that when you first boot up the game, you pretty much create your own character. So and there's like a lot of different options of things you can do to create your character. Like they go pretty in detail of the different things you can do, like change their eyebrow size, the size of their hair, the color of their hair. So
it's kind of like a Dark Souls character.
It's a very intuitive character creator. The different things you can do, but for the most part, no reason to even worry about that. Like the options that they give you aren't really even that great. Really, no reason to spend too much time on character creation. Just pick a name, pick a gender, pick a color, pick a hairstyle. You're good. Literally it.
Yeah.
And like what I find interesting about the character creator, because usually when you create your own character, that's the main character of the game. But in White Knight Chronicles, that's not the case. The main character is Leonard, and you'll know for a fact that's the case because as soon as you start the game and see your main character, it says that your character joined the party. Not Leonard joined the party, saying that like, hey, he's joining your team. No, you joined Leonard's team. So that's one way to let you know that like, hey, you're not the main character. You're just following the main character on his journey, which I think is pretty interesting compared to a lot of other JRPGs.
Yeah.
And White Knight Chronicles, really solid game. The story, like I said, is pretty generic, but it was also a lot of fun. The characters are great and pretty solid. The combat's great. The music is fucking great. Like the main theme song in the second game, White Knight Chronicles 2, Battlefield Flower, is so fucking good. And I just remember in the final boss fight, like as soon as the cutscene starts and you're about to battle, like that song plays and then just starts blasting throughout the main battle of like all the different knights just fucking fighting each other. And just it's so fucking cool. Holy shit. Every time I think about that fight. But yeah, no, White Knight Chronicles is a very, very, very underrated game. And I even checked the subreddit for that, and it only has like 180 people, and the last post was like 4 years ago. And it's very unfortunate that it's a very underrated game. Oh, another cool thing that last thing that I want to mention is that one of the biggest appeals of that game in the past was its online mode. Because like one of the things with your character that you created is that you can use that character to do all the different story missions with a lot of your online friends on the PS3. And the game sort of does a thing, kind of like in Dark Cloud, where you can create your own base. So you can create your own sort of town and like change up the different areas of how you want to change the terrain and the towns you want to build, the item shops and different things like that. And you can have all your friends sort of visit that shop, sort of visit your town with you, or visit your other friends' towns and sort of go on missions and shit like that, which is really cool. And in White Knight Chronicles 2, they even made an online story mode for your character. And so you and your friends would get together and just like do the online story mode that's, I believe, is kind of separate to the main story, but also sort of ties in. And it's unfortunate too, because in White Knight Chronicles 2, the ending, they do tease a third one, but unfortunately that never happened, which is sad. But yeah, White Knight Chronicles, very underrated game, very good game, very cheap game. If you find it, would highly recommend it. You won't regret it.
Oh, I'm pretty close to convinced. I believe there was a just looking at the like some pictures of it. I'm seeing photos of a PSP game.
Oh yeah, Origins.
Yeah. Have you dabbled in that one a little bit or no?
No, I just know that it's supposed to take place 1,000 years story-wise before the first game.
Oh, nice.
And I remember I actually watched a review of the White Knight Chronicles series before we recorded, just like, oh, why did this franchise not succeed? And they were talking about how, like, out of the 3 games, White Knight Chronicles Origins kind of did the best sales-wise. Like, a lot of people liked that game a little bit more, but still overall was a franchise that just kind of bombed. But yeah, I don't really know much about that game other than that.
Dang, I wonder if they plan on like bringing it back at all.
That would be awesome because it's a very good game in my opinion.
Yeah, at least like a remaster, like a bundled 1 and 2 for PS4, PS5 or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be tight.
Have you checked out the online aspect of it any recently, or do you think it's like not?
No, it's completely dead. Like I know it's dead because even when I was playing in 2014, the servers were already gone. Like I think the servers ended like in 2012 or something like that. Like they died a long time ago, unfortunately. Like you can't play online anymore.
Damn.
Yeah, no, they knew that this game was a bomb, unfortunately.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, man, that is like, at least like in the time that it came out, like that online component did not last a very long time.
Not at all, no.
Damn.
But the time that I did play of it, it was great.
Okay, cool. So, I kind of selected 2 games.
Okay.
Maybe you could even look at it as 3 or 4 games.
Okay.
But the first one is very separate than the other ones I'm going to talk about. And the first game, it's funny that you mentioned Disgaea and how you just beat that game today, because this first game that I'm going to talk about. By the way, I'm looking at Disgaea on PC right now and it's $3.
The first one?
Yes.
Oh shit. Hell yeah, get that. This guy's good.
It's $3 on Steam, and the second game is $4 on Steam.
Oh, wow. Actually, speaking of Disgaea real fast, yesterday, because I was trying to find a physical copy of Nier Replicant, but they didn't have it, so instead I bought Disgaea 1 Complete for the for the Switch, which is pretty much just like a remaster of the very first Disgaea game.
Yes, yeah.
So I'm excited.
And I've been debating on whether or not I should get the PC version or the one complete version, because from what I understand, there's not a big difference between the two. Maybe some like graphic stuff, but anyways, I would like to play Disgaea 5, but I know that there is an interconnected story, and someone like me, I'm just kind of like, fuck.
Not really, no. Not at all.
I know it's very loose from what I've read.
Yeah, it's extremely loose, yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's a little bit more connected than, say, the Final Fantasy games are connected to each other, but also you can just kind of start wherever.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Okay, so anyways, the first game that I am going to discuss with you, I actually chose more than one game because this first game is not something that I even want to say a lot about. But this first game, I actually just beat this game today, like right before me and you got on call.
Okay.
And that is a brand new game that came out this year, like 2 months ago or something. And it is at full price a $15 game. So if I at all convince you to get this game, like, even if you don't want to buy it, I will buy it for you, because it's so it is so fucking good. And this game is called Everhood. Have you heard of this?
No.
Have you how do you feel about Undertale?
It seems fine. Seems like a fun game.
Yeah. You never got around to playing the full game though, right?
Nope. Oh wait, no, I saw I never watched the video, but I saw Penguin Z Charlie's video that he uploaded a video about this.
Oh, did he really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wow. Interesting, because this is an indie game. That's so cool that he did like a video on an indie game. Anyways, this game is kind of the love child of Undertale.
Okay.
And like Guitar Hero in a sense.
Oh wow, okay.
So this whole game revolves around music. And dude, every fucking song in this game is so good.
Okay.
Like, it's really good. I mean, I think some of the songs kind of starting off like at the beginning of the game are probably some of the weaker ones compared to what comes towards the end of the game, but holy shit, like, there's not a single song in here that I'm like, I don't really like this song.
Right.
Like, every song is a bop, dude.
Okay.
And the gameplay, well, okay, let me just read to you what the Wikipedia says about its story, because really this is all I even want to say, because anything after this would be a spoiler. It says Everhood is a 2001 video game developed by Chris Nordgren and Jordi Roca. So I don't think these guys are American. Anyways, the game's plot involves a red doll person trying to recover their stolen arm from a gold pig. Along the way, the player meets mushrooms, gnomes, and other strange creatures, including a small creature by the name of Blue Thief, who will help the player on their quest to retrieve their arm. So that's all I even want to say. Basically, you play as a gnome who's on a quest to go get their arm back. And even if you just look at photos of the main character, this gnome, we were talking a little bit about Super Mario RPG and how we'd like to play that game. Yeah. And one of the most beloved characters from that game is a wooden like doll person named Genome, and I think that's his name. Gino. What did I say? Genome? No, his name's Gino. So Gino is probably one of the more famous like character, like everybody wants him in Smash and all this stuff. So this character looks a lot like him, and even whenever you're playing this game, all of its influences of the many different games it takes inspiration from, it wears it like really proudly. Like, it's not like this, like, oh, you're just stealing ideas from here. Oh, you're just, taking this sort of idea from here. It's it really does feel very unique and very original. But also, you can just look at this game and be like, okay, this is very Undertale-esque.
Yeah.
So, it's really good. The story, aside from what I just read to you, the plot itself unravels in a very interesting way. And it's not a very long game. I think I beat the game at around 6-ish, 6.5 hours.
Okay.
It's really good. There are, I believe, 5 difficulty levels. There is story mode, which is the easiest. Basically, your health regenerates really fast. You can just kind of blow through the game and get to know the story. Then there's easy mode. Then there's medium mode. And there's hard mode. And like expert mode or something, or very hard mode. But that 4th difficulty, hard mode, whenever you're looking at like the descriptions of the difficulties, it says basically hard mode is how they designed the game to be played. Whenever you finish a battle, it feels so fucking good. And I remember even whenever I was like first starting to play the game and I was kind of getting through that tutorial of like how to play the game and all that, it's very interesting. Like I thought that I was not going to be good. Like this game is not very easy. Especially whenever you're starting out. Like it can be really tough, especially if you're playing on hard or expert mode or something. But even on some of the songs that I did, like I even was just like, fuck it, because after you die, you have the option to just change the difficulty for that song. So even like there was one time where I just was like, fuck it, I'm putting it on story mode just because I've made it to the end of this song so many times and just keep dying. Right. So just like show me what happens afterwards. And I would like die once or twice, like even on that. Like it's not like a super duper easy video game.
Yeah. No, that's how I felt when I played Horizon Zero Dawn. Like that game was not easy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's got some difficulty spikes in there, man. But, it's not like Dark Souls hard. It's completely different. It's like, I don't know, it's really good. This is on Nintendo Switch and PC. Those are the only 2 platforms currently that it's on. And I think on both it's $15.
No, tight.
And personally, man, it's well worth giving these 2 guys your money. Just because, it's really good. And it's not like a rhythm game to where you have to like press buttons like on beat. Because realistically, I have not played the game and really thought about being on beat with the music at all. Because how it works is these enemies essentially attack you with a song. Okay. And so, like, every beat and every note that the song is playing, those notes are coming down at you, and you have to dodge them. Like, you just have to fucking jump over them or, like, move to the left or right. And that's basically your whole battle system is you move to the left and right, and you just jump over notes. Okay. So it's not like a rhythm game to where you have to be on beat. You just have to dodge the music that's coming at you. And it's really... Like I said, dude, the music is so fucking good. Brand new game. I really don't think enough people are talking about this game, which is another reason why I'm super pumped that Charlie made a video talking about it,
Yeah.
Because it's like, dude, nobody's talking about this game. It needs more love. Anyways, so yeah, the other sort of collection of games that I have recently played, and maybe we can do a longer video talking about this, but Ys, Y-S. I recently played and beat through Ys 1, 2, and Origins. And for the most part, if you talk to anyone who likes the Ys games, for the most part, they will tell you, oh, just kind of like hop in anywhere, because almost all of them start with the same premise of like, oh, your main character has amnesia, and then your adventure starts and you meet brand new characters along the way. So that's kind of like how the whole structure is. So you don't really need to play all of them to understand everything happening in every one of them. Mm-hmm. But I would say, if you do play Ys 1 or 2, just understand that Ys 1 and 2 they were originally supposed to be released. They were originally supposed to be released as one game. Like, the story picks up immediately, like, after the credits of Ys 1. So Ys 1 and 2, I kind of just consider one game. But Ys Origins takes place, like, 700 years before Ys 1. And if you were to play these games, I would say play 1 and 2 and then play Origins, because, it's like you'll just see a lot of references to Ys 1 that, they feel really cool to experience whenever you have already played Ys 1 and 2.
Okay.
But, yeah, the story is, pretty straightforward. It's a lot of setup for this main character who appears in all of the games. But realistically, yes, every story is connected, and there is a timeline in which these games take place. The same character, it's like the main character is the same main character in every game. Every now and then he has amnesia, like I mentioned, but, his adventures are happening, one by one. So there is a full story here. But Ys Origins, Ys 1, and Ys 2, I would say I would kind of lump that together as one big narrative. Like, if you ended up never playing any of the other Ys games, Ys 1, 2, and Origins, I would consider as one. And it's a really cool story. The gameplay is different in Origins than it is in 1 and 2, but it's all extremely fun. Ys 1 and 2 has this system called bump combat, where you obtain weapons and armor and shields and shit like that, but you don't swing your sword ever. Like, you literally just walk into enemies, and if you and an enemy hit each other head on, just like face to face, then that's like a heavy attack against them, but you're also going to take damage from it. So you have to either get them from the back, where it's like an extra strong piece of damage, but like, you're not going to be hit, or hit them like at a diagonal thing, where you're less likely to get hit. It's very interesting how it works. I'd never heard of this sort of system until I played this game. But once you're playing it for about 30 minutes, it becomes like second nature. Like, it's really easy to get used to. That's kind of how Ys 1 and 2 are. That's like how they play. It's really addicting, and you can just level up really fast. I think they max you out at like level 10 or something. Ys 1 is probably like a 4-hour game, 5-hour game.
Okay.
And then Ys 2 is like a 6-hour game, 6 to 8 hours probably. And then, yeah, so you can beat Ys 1 and 2, like probably both of them. If you just had a day to kill, you could beat Ys 1 and 2 in a day. So, really, really cool. It's one of those game series that has, they've had a dedicated fan base for years and years, and, not as popular as the, like the Trails games, or the Final Fantasy series, or the Tales games. But I'd say they're really good, and Origins is a little different though. It's a bit more of like a hack and slash 2D 3D. It's very interesting how it, like, aesthetically it's very cool. But really cool game. Yeah, so I guess maybe I talked a little bit more about Everhood than I was originally expecting. That's why I said I was going to talk about Ys as well. But really, I mean, that's the one that I really was considering talking to you about was Everhood, just because it's so fucking cool.
Yeah,
and
no, it definitely looks cool. Like as you were talking about, I was looking at some screenshots and the trailer for it. It definitely looks fun. Yeah, I'll probably eventually pick it up, but I already have like a list of games that I know for a fact that I want to play and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But eventually, I'll check that out.
Yeah, from what I experienced and the general consensus I see online, pretty much most people are beating Everhood at around 5 to 6 hours. So it's also one of those games that you can just kind of blow through. But there's also a lot of stuff. Like there's a lot of replay value. Like there's a lot of decisions that you can make that make you want to replay the game and all that. So all in all, man, yeah, maybe watch a review. At the same time, I really think this is a game that is best if you just don't know shit about it and you just play it, you know?
That's good. Yeah, definitely. I definitely need to play shorter games because, like I said, with Disgaea 5, most recent game I beat, it took me 80 hours to beat that game. So
Fuck, man.
It definitely would be nice to play something a little shorter.
What were your character's levels?
My highest level was 180 is when I beat the game, level 180.
Gosh.
And the final boss, he was level 120. And it's funny, too, because as soon as I got to post-game, and I was just like, let's see what happens if I wonder, like, if there's, like, a new difficulty spike with these levels. And when I went to the final boss again, it went from level 120 to level 3,600. I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Oh, my
I'm good.
gosh.
No, thank you.
So what other Disgaea games have you beaten? I know I've asked you this before. Oh, you've beaten every Disgaea game? I have now officially
beaten all of them, yep. Disgaea 1, Disgaea 2, Disgaea 3, Disgaea 4, Disgaea D2, which is a direct sequel to the first Disgaea game, and now Disgaea 5. I've beaten all of them.
Sheesh. Bro, you going to get Disgaea 6?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. When is that one coming out?
So they just gave like a basic summer 2021 date. So who knows? But I think I might eventually replay the third one because that was the one that I remember the least about. And I've been told that that's the worst one of the bunch. So I don't know. Maybe when I play it again, we'll see. But from what I remember, probably my favorite one is Disgaea 2 for the PS2. I really like the characters in that game and it's just a fun story. So yeah, that was good. And I definitely need to replay Disgaea 1 too because... when I first beat that game, I kind of cheated because I bought the DS version, and we had the fucking Game Shark thingies where you can like put your DS game inside this little cartridge and then put that cartridge into the DS to like add cheat codes onto it.
Right.
And I did that, and I made all my characters level 9,999, the max level, and just plowed through that game. Which was like, man, you know what? That's kind of cheating. I should probably like actually play that game and beat it fairly. So I'll probably eventually, with the complete version of Disgaea 1, I'll definitely replay that game too.
Yeah. So this is cool because actually today on Steam it's the Golden Week sale, which is just celebrating video games from Japan. And so it's from April 29th to May 6th, and it's like fucking every single Japanese game that has ever come from Japan ever is just on sale right now. So all of the Disgaea games are on sale right now.
Oh, tight.
And Disgaea 5 Complete for PC is $16.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah. Disgaea 4, it's 60% off right now. Disgaea 4 Complete Plus is $24. Disgaea 2, $4. You know, it's got the whole sale going on right now.
Definitely. One thing that I've been kind of thinking about as we were talking about just like game franchises, JRPG franchises, like what's one of the next JRPG franchises that we should like get into? And something I've been thinking about because I'm into Pokemon, I'm into Disgaea, I'm into Final Fantasy. What's like another one that I should get into?
Okay, so this is something that I have also considered because I am in the prologue of the first game in this series, and it is I'm playing through Trails in the Sky right now. Do you know anything about the Trails series? Like, there's Trails
No.
of Cold Steel, which are kind of like the newest ones. Okay.
I know nothing.
So this is from the same. This is from Falcom, right? So it's
yeah.
same guys who did Disgaea and Ys and stuff. All of them are from the same like publisher.
Yeah.
So this is basically a game to where whenever you look into all of these other games, this is essentially a Marvel Cinematic Universe type deal, where it's like you play through the first game, and then it's like you play its sequels and all this stuff, and then other games, or because some people say, oh, you don't have to play Trails in the Sky first. You can start with Trails of Cold Steel 1 if you want to, even though realistically that's like the fifth or sixth game chronologically in the series, but a lot of people are like, oh, you can just start there, but at the same time you'll see characters from these older games that make appearances and are extremely important, and everything that happens in this universe is really, really connected, and it's got really great lore. And I'm a part of some like JRPG groups on Facebook and stuff, and this is one of the biggest franchises that I see all the time in those groups. Everyone is fucking talking about these games, and every once in a while I'll see someone post like, hey, I'm new to the group, like I've played through Final Fantasy games, like I love all of those, I love a lot of games, like I like Kingdom Hearts and stuff like that. What are some other games that I should get into? And then nearly fucking everyone is like, the Trail series, play the Trail series. And then some people will say like, hey, I just played through like Trails of Cold Steel 3, and then everyone will just start like bombarding this person with just like, isn't it so fucking good? Isn't it the best game ever? Right. And I even made a post just saying like, hey, I actually just started the very first Trails game, and right now it's on sale for $10 on Steam. So yeah, I mean, and also the first Trails game, it's called The Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky. This is where I am starting right now, and it is literally the first game in the Trails series, and it's only available on PC. So if you were to play this game, I play it on my laptop. I don't really have like a beefy laptop, and it runs the game perfectly at 60 frames a second. It's kind of like 16-bit. But you can like move the camera in like a 3D angle.
Yeah.
Anyways, so it's really, really fucking good. And dude, if you want to start getting into a series, like please get into this series with me. Like just Trails in the Sky. If you are a fan of shonen anime, this is the most like heavily like shonen inspired video game from whatever I've like heard, but not like in the cheesy way. I mean, there's some cheesy stuff, but it's like it's good cheese, it's that provolone, it's that mozzarella. All right.
Hey. That's good.
So yeah, Trails in the Sky, it's $10 right now. It's also available on GOG. I'm not sure how much they price it on GOG. Also, Ys 1 and 2. I played the PC versions of those, and I think both of those together was like $3 or something. And those games are like always on sale. And they're always just cheap in general. But okay. But yeah, to answer that sort of question, if me and you could just start playing through the Trails and I would, because I'm so early on in this game, I would gladly just like start over just so I could go through this story with you, because so far it's really intriguing, and the gameplay is really fun, and it's kind of like let's see, what can I compare this to? It's not like a tactics style game like how Disgaea is or Final Fantasy Tactics, but it's turn-based, and for each of your turns, you can move around the map.
Okay.
It's like a turn-based RPG with like like strategy, tactical elements.
Mm-hmm.
It's very interesting, and yeah, and I like the way that you level up your character is very similar to Final Fantasy X.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Like you kind of have to, collect these items.
Yeah.
That you essentially put into slots that allow you to unlock an ability of your choosing, you know?
Right.
So it's really cool in that aspect. From what I can tell right now, I mean, maybe you get more characters later on, but from the start of the game up to where I am right now, and I've probably played this game for like 4 hours maybe, I've only had 2 people in my party the entire time. So I don't know if the whole game is a party of 2, but they're like... Oh, and this is the other thing, too. Oh, shit. I dropped my phone. So maybe this is more normal in Japan. This is not something that is normal in America, for sure. But if the concept of... How do I say this without like just making it sound immediately really fucking weird? So the 2 main characters that you play as are brother and sister.
Okay.
In an adopted sense. Like the game starts off.
Oh, is there some
like
home Alabama shit?
Hold on. Because from what I do know, yes, they do start a romantic relationship. But the game starts off where the main characters are both probably like 11 or 12 years old, maybe 13 years old. And then basically the dad comes into the scene, and he's like carrying this little boy, and this is where he is adopted into the family. So this boy is adopted into the family while they're both teenagers, essentially. And so they've lived with each other for like somewhere between like 5 and 7 years. They've basically lived like brother and sister, but you know, they were teenagers whenever they became adopted siblings. And kind of in the beginning of the game, there's a lot of teasing that goes on, and because I know that they do end up, some of this gets really fucking weird for me, because it'll be like, oh, like I can tell that you're in love with him, and then she's like, what the fuck, gross, no, that's my brother. But it's like, oh my god, I know they get together, so it's like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, that's anime shit. There's a lot of anime where they do that, and I hate that.
Yeah, so this is something in Western culture. This is not something that is normal to the majority of Americans. But hey, maybe this is cool in Japan. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so that's... From what I have seen, that is the only thing about this game that typically push people away. But if you can kind of get around that sort of icky concept and just kind of see it for, you know, being kind of stereotypical for an anime story, you're going to really, really, really fucking enjoy what's going on. Yeah, it's fucking dope. I definitely recommend it to you. If you forget the name of it later or something, I'll just text it to you because it's so good. But
yeah, it definitely seems like as you were talking about, I was looking at a little bit about it. Yeah, it definitely seems like a pretty interesting game franchise to get into. For me personally, I was thinking more, I'll probably eventually check this series out, because there's like a shit ton to this franchise, I can tell. But
like, and if you look at screenshots of Trails in the Sky compared to like the newest game, like Trails of Cold Steel, like the Trails in the Sky games, those are like 2D games.
Yeah.
But Trails of Cold Steel, all of those are not, I don't know if they're open world, but they're like big 3D games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I was thinking I was probably going to start with like either, like really get into either Persona or Dragon's Quest. Probably Persona first for me is what the next big series I would start.
I'm actually currently looking at it right now. Persona 4 Golden is on Steam right now for $14. So
Oh shit.
yeah, I might actually end up buying that because I never played Persona 4. I never had it on PS2, and I never owned a Vita. So
Yeah.
I'm glad it's finally on PC so I can play that.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I have not Disgaea. I have that. I have a Persona 5. I bought the digital copy a long time ago, so I'd eventually play that soon.
So this is my stipulation with Persona 5. I bought the game, like I pre-ordered like the collector's edition for Persona 5, like the steelbook copy and everything, whenever it originally came out like years ago.
Yeah.
And I never even beat the first dungeon of that game. Like
Actually, I don't think I have either, yeah.
Like, dude, I fucking love it. Like, it's so good, but for some reason, I just never got around to actually finishing that game or even getting remotely far in the game. Because the story alone to that game is, like, over 100 hours long.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's how I felt. That's how I was with, like, earlier games, especially as a kid. Like, there were so many games, like, I fucking love this game, that I never beat it for whatever reason.
Right. So, but my biggest stipulation with it now is I'm probably more interested than ever to play Persona 5. But now I'm in a position where I own the original game, but also the Royal Edition exists. So that's basically like, you know, Kingdom Hearts Final Mix. It's like the Final Mix version of Persona 5. And I'm like, okay, well, I have no idea what happens in the story, so I'd like to play the best version of this game for the first time, you know?
Yeah.
But now I'm just like, well, fuck. Like, I literally own the game. I have this game. I can play it whenever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
But also, there's just this better version of the game out there that I could purchase again. Then I would essentially have two copies of... I don't know. It's a conundrum for me.
Oh,
Definitely.
yeah, no, I get that.
I did play a big amount of Persona 3, though, on the PlayStation 2.
Oh, okay.
And, yeah, if you didn't want to start off with Persona 5 or Persona 4, I'd say Persona 3 is probably one of the better ones in the whole series.
I've heard good things about that one, yeah. Persona 3.
Yeah, Persona 3 is dope. Faux show. What was the other one? Dragon Quest?
Yes.
Yes. Have you played any Dragon's Quest?
I played like an hour of the first one, then haven't touched it since.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so because you just bought that like on the eShop, right?
Mm-hmm.
And wait, but didn't you also have one on the 3DS?
Yes, I have, I think it was Dragon Quest 8 for the 3DS, I believe.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
cool.
I played like 20 minutes of that.
Oh, yeah. So, I have played and beaten... I've played and beaten Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3. All on Nintendo Switch. And now I'm playing the mobile version of, like the cell phone version of Persona 4, or not Persona, Dragon Quest 4. And it's really good. It's really good.
Yeah.
And
because you said each 3 games is like its own sort of like world, right? Like
yeah, it's its own sort of universe.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, Dragon Quest 1 through 3, like whenever you beat Dragon Quest 1 and you start Dragon Quest 2, it's very apparent that it is the sequel to Dragon Quest 1. And 3 is also very heavily connected to those games as well, and you find out a lot of that later on in the game. But yeah, I would definitely recommend just playing it 1, 2, 3. At least just starting off with those, maybe. And then also, like, I'm like 90% sure 11 also ties into the 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, because I've heard some things. I don't even know if maybe you've said this too, that like 1 is like the prequel to the very first game or something like that. It's like a prequel to some game.
Yeah, okay, so it's kind of like a story revelation like later on in 3, but Dragon Quest 3 takes place before Dragon Quest 1.
Yeah.
But 2 is after 1. So really the timeline of the first 3 is 3, 1, 2.
Yeah, because isn't it that they're talking about the main character of 3 like he's some urban legend, right?
Yeah. So, but I would definitely recommend just playing it 1, 2, 3 for like the best experience, because on one hand you get the best evolution of the gameplay. Like they just get better and better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then also the story revelations will come to you like at a much, like, you know, at the same pace that the developers intended it. But also I know that Dragon Quest 11 takes place before Dragon Quest 3.
Oh wow, okay.
But 11 is also like this huge love letter to the entire series.
Yeah.
So a piece of me, even though I've played 1, 2, and 3, a piece of me would like to just play through 11. But at the same time, I want to know more about the other games, because the other games are also very different from 1, 2, and 3. So I want to get a better idea of the whole series, you know?
Definitely.
So I may end up just playing through those games in order.
Okay.
I think 10 is in Japan only, and it's an MMORPG.
Yeah.
So that's one that I literally can't play because I don't know Japanese. But that's the only one that I know for sure I'm gonna have to skip.
Yeah.
But 4 has a pretty solid start. I hear 5 is like one of the best in the entire series, and they even recently made a movie based off of 5.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's a Netflix original movie called Dragon Quest: Your Story. It's basically a remake of Dragon Quest 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, definitely would like to get further into those games with you as well. But if I can just say one off the top of my head, one that I know me and you both have very, very, very little knowledge of and like no experience in playing, the Tales games. Or sorry, Trails. It's interesting because there's like the Tales series and the Trails series.
Yeah, whenever we first mentioned it, I was like, are you just saying the exact same thing twice?
Yeah. It's the Trails games.
Right.
In the beginning of the episode, I was talking about Tales. But now I'm talking about Trails. So,
right.
Yes. Yeah, Trails in the Sky. So good. Definitely recommend it. But, yeah. Also, you know, maybe I probably should have just started this episode off with this, but since we're kind of closing out this episode, just want to say a big fat fucking congratulations to you, DJ, on reaching 1,000 subscribers on your personal YouTube channel.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, dude. I saw your little thank you video. It was very sweet.
Yeah, not gonna lie, I totally forgot that I had that uploaded today.
Yeah. So, yeah. Good shit though, man.
Thanks.
Whenever you started kind of mentioning the whole idea of like, oh, I know why. Like, I kind of understand why I got these many subscribers this fast with the 1 second. But I mean, I hope you see it like how I do, and also take pride in the fact that even though, yes, like it's a completely different type of video than the other videos that you make, like you put a shit ton of effort into just putting all of that together.
Oh yeah,
that's a lot of episodes that you had to cut up.
Yeah, I'm still definitely proud of doing it. I mean, yeah, it's a shame that like something that, in my opinion, took way less effort than these other videos did way better. But yeah, no, I'm definitely still proud of it, and the fact that like I'm the one who made this is cool. Which it's funny that a lot of people ask me just like, oh man, this must have taken you forever. Really, no, it didn't. Like the first one that I made took me 3 months, only because at the time I was doing work, school, and the other channel, Videoverse, plus this. Like, yeah, it took me a while. It was my very first time ever doing it, and I wasn't sure exactly how to do it. But then, like, everyone after that, like, it took me, like, less than a month to make it, because I'm a big fan of One Piece, so I know exactly what I'm getting into, and it was pretty easy to just, like, instead of watching the entire episode, I just, like, skimmed through looking for, like, what stood out, what was funny, because One Piece in general is already, like, a weird series, because it's not too hard to, like, find something that stands out. But yeah, no, still going over 300 episodes, 900 in total is still kind of a bit.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, good. I'm fucking super proud and happy for, just where your channel's going. Also, congrats on putting out the review for Hajime no Ippo seasons 2 and 3. I liked that video a lot. Honestly, dude, personally, in my opinion, I think that's probably your best video yet. Like I really enjoyed that video. I thought you fucking nailed it.
Thanks, man.
That's
definitely
video,
the
man.
goal is to try to make each video better than the last. And I definitely think that this video is better than my previous Hajime no Ippo video.
Yeah, well, let's hope that this podcast is better than the other podcasts that we did. But yeah, anyways, congratulations to you, DJ. If you haven't checked out Mushrooman on YouTube, I always leave a link to Mushrooman in the in the description of these podcasts on the YouTube channel. But I'll also leave it on the Spotify link and the Apple Podcast link and all that good shit. So yeah, go give him a look, give him a chuckle. He likes to hear you guys chuckle at his funny jokes.
I do like that. It makes me validate. It lets me know that I am indeed funny sometimes.
That's right. So thank you so much for hanging out here. Is there anything else that we need to plug?
No, I think
we have a Discord.
Yeah.
Go ahead and join our Discord, guys. I mean, it's kind of empty right now. But
Fill it up, baby.
Yeah, guys, if you guys blow it up, I have these threads that I've sort of made in the Discord, for fucking memes. If you just want to talk about Square Enix games or Falcom games or music or memes again, just fucking come in there and hang out. Like I said, it's barren right now. But that's just because mostly it's me and DJ right now. I mean, we got a few other people in there as well, but this is something that I want to be able to have a better connection to our listeners out there. I know there are more people out there who are listening to the podcast on platforms that aren't YouTube. So I'm not always able to mention, or I guess I'm always able to mention, but I always forget to mention the Discord, and with my mouth because I'm so used to just putting the big notification of it on the YouTube version.
Yeah.
But go ahead, join our Discord link. I'll leave that in the description of this one as well. Follow us on Twitter at Overleveled Cast. I've kind of been a little bit slow on tweeting on there, but following us on there and retweeting anything that we do tweet is a good way to spread the good news, spread the gospel,
the awareness.
Oh yeah. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you, DJ, for telling me about White Knight Chronicles.
Yes, sir. More opinion about that game.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested. So,
thank you for telling me about
we'll
the
give these
Trail
games
series.
some looks. Sorry, wait, what was that?
No, I was just saying, and thank you for telling me about the Trail series. Seems pretty interesting.
Oh yeah, definitely. But yeah, that's gonna do it for us on this episode. Join us next week, where we, I guess we'll just smooch.
Yeah, we can do that.
I guess we'll just kiss each other a little bit.
Yeah, I'm down for an hour kissing.
A whole fucking hour of just DJ smooches.
Hell yeah, bro. Get ready.
I'm ready, bro. All right, bye.